Hey guys, I haven't done a video in a while, and I have nothing better to do, so I thought I'd do a scene breakdown of a movie that I really did not like. It's called The Harder They Fall, directed by James Samuels. I'm not gonna go into complete detail of the movie, only because I've already talked about it before, like 3 years ago, or was it 3 years ago? It was like 3 or 4 years ago when I first started this channel. I watched it on Netflix and it was a very baffling experience. It got like an 80 something on Rotten Tomatoes, and James Samuels, at least to me, seemed like he was being hailed as some sort of prodigy. I don't know where any of that's coming from. He's not really he's not a bad filmmaker, but he's not a good filmmaker either. He's definitely one of those directors that he saw something, he saw maybe like a Tarantino film, and instead of really implementing those elements and creating his own style, he kind of just takes it and does that, only with less understanding. He's like I said, I'm not gonna rant about him. I've already ranted about him enough. I shit talked him 2 movies ago. I recently watched The Book of Clarence, and I reviewed that movie too. Both movies are not good movies, and I don't think a lot of people have paid attention to The Book of Clarence. Like this movie, The Harder They Fall, it pretty much faded into obscurity. Like nobody either talks about it or remembers this movie, so it had its glory days, like I guess in 2021, but like nowadays, it's like I think it's still being on Netflix is still bad enough for me. I think that's still too good for this movie. Like this is a movie that just it tries to do so many things, and this guy James Samuels, this is his directorial debut. So to me, it's a very overblown directorial debut. To me, it seems like a movie that he bit off way more than he can chew, at least in my opinion. Because the movie itself, it was just so boring, very pretentious, and very just so up its own ass that every single thing that's happened in the movie just left me either bored or frustrated, because everybody's saying, this movie has an all black cast. I think that's the single biggest defense, and I am a huge advocate for filmmakers that have predominantly black protagonists or predominantly black characters in the center. I think we need more of that. But what we also need more of is better writing. And, both the writers, James Samuel, I forgot the other guy's name, whatever. Yeah, both writers, they don't either, they haven't seen a Western before in their life, or they're lying about the movies they actually seen. Because they've, like in one of James Samuel's interviews, he talks about how he's seen all these movies, but either he saw it and completely misunderstood them, or he watched them and thought to himself that he could do it better. I don't know. But I'm only doing a scene breakdown of the train scene. If you've seen the movie before, it's pretty much the whole train robbery thing. And the reason why is because this scene encapsulated everything. This whole scene encapsulates everything that's wrong with the movie itself. So we're just going to go step by step. I'm going to just complain and, just mope and just bitch about, everything that this scene does wrong. For one, I want to say, like I said before, I think this movie just has very transparently disingenuous cinematography. Like, I just don't like scenes like this don't have any sort of relevance or meaning. Like, oh, it's just cool that Regina King is doing a thing with her finger. Like, that's what it is to me. Like none of these, the cinematography in this movie has there's no personality with the cinematography. It really just seems like it looks cool, so I'm just gonna shoot it cool. And yeah, like I said, it's just there's nothing holding the cinematography together. It's just James Samuels thought it looked cool and he shot it that way for that reason. Literally, he did the Zack Snyder strategy. So yeah, this scene was just plain stupid. I'm watching this, and I'm watching, Regina King's... Speaking of which, Regina King's character, now that I think about it, she has, no emotion in this movie. I haven't watched this movie, since then, and I don't think I can't sit through this movie again. That's why I just watched this scene. But, Regina King's character is just so... I just realized that she's very emotional. She has no emotion, no personality. I guess you could say, she's supposed to be, cold and like cool, but you can still have personality. She's like completely like she looks dead behind the eyes the entire time. Like literally the entire movie, she looks dead behind the eyes, and I'm thinking, is that really how like James Samuels directed her? Did he just tell her you're dead behind the eyes? And because she seemed to have nailed it. So yeah, this part was really stupid. So you have the train driver like, he's like, oh, you can't he's like, you can't that's not how you stop a train or something like that. And I kind of thought to myself, I've never seen someone this stupid before. Like he's like running off the train and going straight up to somebody who clearly was stepping in front of the train tracks in a sort of like confidently threatening manner. Like if somebody's stepping into a train like that, you might not want to stupidly run out there over to that person. Like I kind of it just baffled me, and I'm like, why is he doing this? Like why is he running over to her? Like you have an entire, like you have at least from what my knowledge, you have 10 soldiers that you could have scoped out. They could have scoped out, or at least went over there, or at least kind of held their guns out there. Like I feel like it's like the train driver was psychic, and he thought to himself, oh, she must have more guys, and he decided to take himself out first. I don't know. It's just like really stupid. Like I just don't know. I don't know if that's logical. Like I don't care what time period this thing. You don't run out there in front of somebody that stood in front of a train intending it to stop. Like really. So yeah. We're supposed to be a cool scene, and then he says this line. I was like, oh, he probably said nincompoop. Nah, I'm okay with that too. I don't mind. James Samuels having like a white character. Shut down saying the N-word. Like, they kill him before he says it. Like, I'm fine with that because, Tarantino has white people saying N-words in Django Unchained, but here it's like, no, it's not like that. And I appreciate that. That's a pretty original idea. But then he's like, oh, yeah. He probably was going to say nincompoop, and then she says, we ain't no nincompoop, and I was like, what? Like, really? Like you could have just left it just with them not saying anything and then walking. Like, why do you gotta have that terrible, awful line? You could have said nincompoop. Oh, well, we ain't no nincompoop. Like, what? It's so cringe. And yeah. Here's another scene that, once again, this is what I don't like about movies like this. I don't like directors that you can see the inspiration, but they misunderstand the cinematography. They misunderstand the filmmaking of the movies that they're inspired by, because you have a scene of them of like, oh yeah, I forgot. I had to add some clips in because I forgot why I did it actually. Whatever. But yeah, like you can't have a scene of just characters walking. Like your cinematography and directing should say something about what's going on. I mean, the only thing it says is that they're both walking by the train to the front. But like, I don't like. There's no subtlety. There's nothing really here. It's just, I guess James Samuels thought this scene looked cool, and I'm thinking of other films that have, like especially westerns. Like heck, what movies am I thinking of that's really good? I liked like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly has stellar cinematography, and each scene says something without it being obvious. But I just don't get that here. I don't get like that the cinematography choice here. It's very just blatant and uninteresting. And then we get the introduction to Lakeith Stanfield's character. Lakeith Stanfield's character is. Let me say this about him now. I love Lakeith Stanfield as an actor, and even in like, what's the movie? Book of Clarence. He was fantastic in it. Like, he held the movie together. Him and James McAvoy. And I don't blame him for this half these lines of dialogue that he's forced to say. Look, I'm saying, like, just look at Regina King. I just want to digress real quick. Like, she's so just like dead behind the eyes. Like, she's a zombie, man. Like, Like, just this whole time, her face is literally this the entire movie. Just this stale, emotionless face. Like, I'm evil and cool. Like, I don't get that vibe from her at all. Like, what am I supposed to take away from this character? Just like by the end of the movie, I thought to myself, why was she even in the movie? Like, but yeah, back to Lakeith Stanfield. There's a line that he says, and I talked about it in the review, and I kind of held that line against the movie. The anytime he came up, I made sure that I reminded the movie of that that line. But he says, there's a line where he goes, "I don't particularly like violence," and something else. But like when you have a character say something, you might want the action to follow through. So you have him saying, "Oh yeah, I don't particularly enjoy violence," and then you're gonna have him go to this guy, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna inflict violence on you." What does he say? I'm gonna enjoy inflicting violence on you. Like he says it here. I'm not gonna play it, but yeah, like he says this, and then he says, "I don't enjoy violence," and then he turns around and he's like, "Oh yeah, well I enjoy this." But then the problem is like, okay, fine. If this was the only time that he inflicted violence, and the rest of the movie he was like timid about it, then I would be fine with that. But for the rest of the movie, including this scene, he's initiating violence. like it's crazy. Like, look at this. What does he do? He goes up to this young boy. He's clearly outnumbered, and he just pulls out a gun. Like he's initiating violence. He doesn't enjoy it, but he initiates it. Obviously, he wants violent. And I'm just gonna go ahead and step ahead with this. But yes, he pulls out a gun and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna kill you," and he keeps doing it. Like he's inflicting violence right now. Like he's threatening to kill someone's son. He shoots someone in the shoulder. Like he shoots the boy in the shoulder. You know, like, let me see, where is it? Yeah, he shoot like right here. Like it's somewhere around here. But yeah, like there's a part where the girl does it. Oh well, shoot. Either way, like he doesn't seem to be. He has no issue with it. Like he has no issue with, violence being done. Like, Regina King's character shoots a boy like twice, and the only thing he says to her is, "Oh, I like my countdowns." Like, really? I thought, like if he was somebody that didn't enjoy doing stuff like this, then he probably would have turned around and said, "Can you stop doing that?" Like, like, can you be consistent with the dialogue that you give this character? So yeah, like he does like a freaking like Mortal Kombat combo on this guy. Like, like, he's like, "Oh yeah, look at that." Like he's like, he enjoys this. What else he enjoys? Oh yeah, he enjoys shooting other people. You know how I know this? Because as soon as he opens the door, like for Buck to come out, where is it? Yeah, look. Oh yeah, I don't enjoy violence, but I enjoy shooting people. Like, I enjoy shooting people. Like, look at that. Look, watch. If I can do it right, yeah. Right here. Look, oh hey, I don't enjoy violence particularly, but I do like shooting people. And he doesn't even feel pressure to do it. Like if his boss says do it, if his boss, Buck says go ahead and do it, he'll just boom, do it. Like anytime he's on screen and anytime there's a scene that has like maybe an eventual action scene, he'll just shoot anybody without any hesitation. He doesn't get any of his lackeys to do anything. He doesn't get the Regina King's character to do it. He'll just do it. He'll just do whatever his boss says. He'll kill everybody, which he does. Like there's once they get out of the thing, he'll just go around shooting everybody. Look at that, there he is shooting somebody. I don't like violence, but I'll shoot everybody. Like that's what I'm saying. Like it's just like his character. Like it was one of these points in the movie that frustrated me, and I had a bad vibe too. I had a weird vibe about how these characters were presented, and then I knew that a lot of the lines that they were saying was just because James Samuels thought that it would have been cool or stylish to have him say that, but it doesn't really. The situation runs deeper and bigger when the audience isn't, the information that you give doesn't have a consistency later on. Audience members will notice these things. It's not like you can have them say something else and then they do a completely different thing. Like you can't treat your audience as if they're not gonna have that information in their minds. So yeah, that was just garbage. So yeah, this and a lot of this scene is, like I said before, the clearly the first thing that came to my mind is Tarantino, and I thought to myself that if this was written by Tarantino, this would have been a very tense and entertaining scene, because Tarantino makes drawn out, scenes long, but he's always adding new things, adding new pieces of information. The tension is rising because we're not sure what characters are going to do. Tarantino knows how to do that, and James Samuels is clearly trying to do that. He's trying to create, a long scene, because this scene, the majority of this train scene is 10 minutes long. It's a 10-minute long scene, and it thinks that it's, progressing, and it thinks that it's being stylish, and it thinks that the dialogue is snappy, when it's not. It's definitely a movie with a very misconstrued identity. And yeah, so yeah, talking about this scene, like I said, another thing is, like, I hate how long it takes for characters to walk. I hate it so much. I hate movies where characters are walking slow for no reason. I'm not saying walk super fast or anything, but good lord, can you just edit? Like, edit this scene, for God's sakes. Like, edit the scene. Stop showing scenes of them walking slowly. I don't care about this crap. Like, edit the scene. My God. Like, and if you are going to do something like this, can you at least make the scene a little more poppy and appealing? Like, even, like I said, Tarantino let me see. He did that maybe once in Django Unchained, and I talked about it. There's a scene when Django and Dr. Schultz are walking to Candyland's house, and it's a scene of them walking. Nobody's saying anything, but one, nobody's walking slow. Two, the music is perfect, and the scene introduces characters. It introduces information about the characters. Like, things are happening within the scene, but here it's just people walking slowly. Like, I'm like, this is intense. I'm so engaged and tensed up. And then James Samuels pulls this bullshit. Like, he tries to do like a freaking what's it called? Yeah, like I forgot. Like, just really, what is this editing choice? Like, it came so out of left field, and it's so random. Like, it happens a couple of times, and every time it just feels completely out of place. Like, what does he think he's doing with this scene? Like, this is not artistic to me. This is not stylish. Like, you saw it once, I guess, in a movie, and you thought it was cool. Like, it's so purposeless. Like, you could have had a scene of you panning from left to right or something through the door, but why do you have to have this split screen? Like, are you kidding me? Like, it just feels like it's just something that's just shoved in there. It doesn't feel naturally implemented. And so yeah, they have this. Oh my God! And I'm telling you, like, if you can hear it in my review that I was legitimately pissed and losing patience with this scene. Like, I couldn't believe just how much time I wanted the scene to end. Like, who cares about all this unnecessary dumping of dialogue? Oh, first of all, I'm not a bastard. And what do you say? He just said a bunch of stupid stuff. Like, oh yeah, we got somebody you have somebody we have, and we go to. It's just like, it's more than, like, it's more than what I need. Like like I said, if this was a better writer, like Tarantino or something, I can see this scene and the dialogue within it being more engaging. But like I said, it's by people, James Samuels, who thinks that he saw Django Unchained once, and then he said, "Oh, I will do that." So it's just like, come on, dude, stop pretending. And then so Virginia King shoots the kid. And then the kid turns around and he's like, "It's okay, Dad, I'm fine." And I'm thinking to myself, well, you just like up the situation to 11. Like, why would you just blatantly turn around and say, "Oh yeah, I'm okay, Dad. Yep, you're my dad." Oh, that increases the tension of the scene by having a character be stupid. Oh, like, are you kidding me? Like, just so annoying. So yeah, and you know what though? Like I said before, like for one, maybe I'll just look up the actors in post production. But like that's supposed to be his son, but that looks like his brother. Like they look, and like I said, there's another thing I said in the review, and I'm saying here, but they look like they're at least like 10 years apart. Like they do not look like father and son. What kind of casting choice is that? Or whatever. So yeah, and why did the kid lie about how many soldiers were in there? Why didn't he just say 10 the first time? He says 30 as if it's going to make a difference. When you're in a confined space, you can work your way through 30 people if you take advantage of the space that you have. So what difference wouldn't it have made? They would have been pretty confident. So yeah, they get rid of this split screen. Look at this. I can't take that stupid editing choice seriously. And then we get to like the world's worst scene ever. Yeah, this scene was bad. The shot and cinematography choices did this part no favors. Just characters walking slowly. Why do we need an overhead shot? It's so unnecessary. Look at this. We're just walking. Boring. It's so boring. Just watching these characters walk, dude. Like, it's like the cinematography has nothing to offer. What does he think? What does James Samuels think he's doing? Like, that's what I understand. What does he think he's doing with this? Does he think that this is like artistic expression? It's just like, I don't care. You could have cut this scene up and edited this portion, and you wouldn't have lost anything. Like, was he just worried about he was gonna lose the atmosphere of this scene? Because I don't feel no atmosphere. God, and then it gets worse. So this scene, look at this. What I'm saying. Look at her. She's so dead behind the eyes. I hate it so much. She looks like a robot, and she talks like one too. Like, let me see. I wonder if I can. I think I forgot to record audio for this part, but I'm gonna go ahead and maybe I can get the audio working. Let me see. Maybe not. Let me see something. Probably not. Maybe I didn't. Oh, I thought I recorded this with audio. Maybe I did it with a different scene. Hang on a second. Okay, I'm stupid and I didn't record it. Okay. But basically, this whole line of dialogue is just her talking about how she's like, "You, General, whatever your name is, you did this." Like, she sounds like she's trying over enunciating her words. I know she's supposed to be Western, but she sounds like she's both over enunciating her words while also having no personality behind the voice. So yeah, basically she tells them some of the most irrelevant information ever, and that's that the general, they're like corrupt people that took out a whole village at some point. Like, she's talking about them. She's like, "Oh yeah, you did some really bad stuff, and this is why Buck got a pardon." I think, like, was that what happened? So because he clearly they did some corrupt stuff, and Buck gets a pardon even though he's a criminal. I think that's what happened. It's just the whole plot doesn't make any sense. But yeah, it seems like almost like this doesn't matter. And the reason why is because when they bring this up, like this information is never really, this information doesn't ever come back. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, so why are you telling them all? Why are you telling the audience these things if we never see the general in any sort of mentioning of corrupt Civil War troopers or whatever? Like that never comes back around. So why would you talk about it in to this much of an extent? Like they contribute this much dialogue to this reveal, but it means nothing. Like it's just such a waste of time. So yeah, it's another scene I hate. Yeah, I was nitpicking this scene to death. I was like, why does the door need to take so long? We know it's Idris Elba. Yeah, I don't get this part. What the heck's going on here? I don't know. These characters are flat. They're flatter than a piece of paper. So none of the stuff matters. So yeah, yep, the introduction of Buck. I was like, oh, he's the big boss. Whatever. Idris Elba's fine in this movie though. Like much like Lakeith Stanfield, he can work his way through a crappy script and come out on top regardless of the material. I do like this part when he tells the soldier to shush. Like, I like the stuff like that. Like stuff like that. These little things, but it has nothing to do with James Samuels. It just has to do with the actors. Like the actors seem to understand the material enough to make certain little nuances like this kind of fun. Like he's like, shh. As soon as the soldier tries to talk. Like, okay, like I can like in a better movie, like I probably would have loved it because it was like it's a funny little scene. So then we get to another really dumb scene that pisses me off. And he's like, oh yeah, who can drive a train? So, first of all, how does he know that she killed the train driver? Like, wouldn't he have already assumed that, the train driver was already alive and they could have just been on their way? But he's asking this out of the blue as if he's like psychic. And I guess, I don't know what the kid has to do with this. Like, okay, so yeah, the kid, what? Like, even watching this again, it's so baffling. Like, the kid knows how to drive a train. What does it got to do with anything? Like, oh yeah, you can drive a train, kill everybody except this kid. Like, what does it matter? It could have been any of the soldiers. I don't know. Because like I said, the movie already took his father from him, shot him in the shoulder and the leg, and now the movie's trying to like give him some sort of degree of mercy by having him randomly know how to drive a train. Okay, well that makes sense. So yeah, this is pretty much the majority of what I wanted to say about this scene. Like a lot of this scene alone encapsulates what's wrong with this movie, and it, like I said, it doesn't let up here. I'm not gonna talk about it. If you want to know, my thoughts on this movie, I'll put the link of my review in the description. But yeah, I've already talked about this movie to death. I've been yelling about this movie when I first started my channel. So, so yeah, it like I said, not a lot of people seem to have cared about this movie after that, which is fine because hopefully James Samuels keeps making like crap so that we don't have to see him make movies again. He should just stick to music, and stop trying to write movies because he doesn't know how to write or direct. But yeah, that's all I really wanted to say. Like I said, if you've seen this movie, share your thoughts on it. If you do like this movie, that's fine. I'm not gonna call you and I'm not gonna sit there and say that people who do like this movie have illegitimate reasons. I just personally, the experience of this movie just left me very frustrated, irritated, and cold. But at the very least, like I said, Book of Clarence seemed a little more sincere and seemed a little more aware of itself. You know, it wasn't trying to be something it wasn't. The only issue was, like, much like this movie, it just has a lot of scenes that waste time. But yeah, this was a bad movie. I've kind of said my piece on it. Yeah, if you have anything you want to say about it, put it in the comments. So yeah, hopefully, you know, I want to try to do these scene breakdowns for certain movies, not just bad movies, but also movies that I love. So if you want to see more, then just, you know, hit the subscribe button, you know, hit the comments, and I will see y'all in the next video. So bye.